Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. Oh my goodness, what a great show we have for you lined up. I know you're thinking, Derek, it's always great. Well, you're right. You're correct. We start off the show with a great friend of Daytime Ottawa and one of the best chefs in the entire city, David Godsoe from the 18 Restaurant Hospitality Group, executive chef. David, how are you?
I am fantastic. I am excited to come on and talk about a great event that we got coming up on May 18th. So it's nice to be here. It's been a while.
It has been a while. I mean, you and I were just talking. Let's before we dive into the event, tell us a little bit about how things are going at 18, and of course you're part of a greater group than just Restaurant 18.
Yeah. So our restaurant group, we have 4 restaurants in the Byward Market. I'd say 4.5. We have a cocktail bar kind of attached to one of them. So we have Restaurant 18, Side Door, Social, as well as the Clarendon Tavern / the Hyde.
Right.
So it's we kind of dominate that block, and things are going great.
Nice. Yeah, and things are picking up. You must be excited. I know after Christmas, a little bit of a dip sometimes, but the good weather's coming. I looked at the weather before you came on, and it looks like a wonderful weekend ahead. So, and I know you've already got your patio set up there too.
Yeah,
we
had that little blip. We got our patio set up. We were all optimistic, and then I guess 2 weeks of rain. So
it's so typical Canadian, right? It's like, oh my goodness, one day of good weather. Let's all bring out our patios. I did the same thing at home, so I don't blame you. Let's talk about this event, Red and White. I know you're very passionate. In particular, your restaurant group is passionate about giving back to the community. Yep. Red and White has a long history. Tell us about it. So this is the event that's coming up is called the Red and White Foodie Fundraiser. She Flourishes. So it's the 15th year of this event. It'll be I believe my 5th or 6th year participating. Nice.
I started with my mentor, Michael Blackie. He wrote me along for one of these events, and I kind of fell in love with it, fell in love with the cause, and kind of carried the torch from him ever since. So this is the first in-person one since COVID started.
Right.
And this one's going to be a little different than some of the Red and White galas of years past.
Okay.
So this one's going to be more cocktail reception style, whereas in the past it was kind of a sit-down dinner. We did 4 courses, and this one's going to be a little more interactive, lots of stuff going on.
Excellent. So, a lot of moving around, so networking and people getting out and about again and being able to catch up. You brought a little something along with you today. What are you preparing for us here?
We got a bunch of chefs that are going to be doing demos for the event. So I brought what we're going to be making for our dish. So we're doing halibut season's just starting. We have a great seafood program at Restaurant 18. I'm lucky enough to be able to call on Tuesday and get a fish that's caught out of the water on Wednesday and on my cutting board Thursday.
Unbelievable.
All the way from BC. So what we have here is sort of the first of the season BC halibut.
Okay.
So we're doing a little ceviche. So I'm dressing it with some coconut and yuzu with a little bit of mirin to kind of sweeten it out.
Okay.
And that's going to do kind of the cooking aspect of it. So this is, you could argue it's a raw dish, because I guess essentially it is.
Right.
But the acid, which is the yuzu citrus, is going to be doing the cooking of this dish.
So tell me about that. Where do you find that?
So we get it in juice. It's hard to find here in Ottawa fresh.
Okay.
So we get juice. It's a Japanese style citrus, and I'd say it's kind of like a cross between kind of a lemon and a tangerine and a lime had a baby.
Really?
It's kind of a little bit sweet, a little bit kind of a funky flavor. It goes really, really well as a complement to this dish.
Very cool.
Sort of the rest of the components. So kind of to garnish this up, I have some nice mango. We're like I said, we're getting into the spring.
Yeah, beautiful color.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful color, nice and sweet. Really complements the halibut. I got a little bit of these beautiful little radish ribbons.
Yeah, nice.
So nice little showing off some knife skills. Little fine julienne. Using my fingers.
You're allowed to, you're a chef. You're allowed to use your fingers.
Hands.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit of just a couple cucumbers. We're going to add a little bit of chilies to this as well.
Oh, that's going to be a nice combo right there.
Yeah, a little bit of combo, and then we can't forget, finishing up with a little bit of salt. There's a little bit of seasoning in that dressing as well, but want to add a little bit on top of that. We've got a couple little microgreens here, a little bit of micro cilantro.
Which I guess that's nice, right? You've got the greenhouses now that carry that, so year round you can get some beautiful microgreens right from Ontario nowadays.
Yeah, so we get our microgreens from a good friend of mine named Jace at Ottawa Microgreens.
Okay.
And he's fantastic. Like he's got a little bit of everything. And he custom grows. So if we have things that we want, then we just kind of give him a couple weeks to sort of get a head start on it. So this is just adding a little bit more of that broth.
Okay.
Then I got a little bit of a spice to kind of add to this. So we have a little andouille oil. So it's kind of a...
How do you describe that?
Andouille oil. So the andouille is it's like a spreadable chorizo. It's the best way to put it.
Okay.
So it does have pork in it, but we're adding just a little bit of color here. Also a little bit of heat.
You're
just
like
to
an
kind of finish
artist,
the dish.
you know?
We try.
Chefs, it's not just we try. Every time you come on the show or I see you or I've gone to an event, you always do something so spectacular. But that's the first thing, right? When we're enjoying a meal, what's the first thing that attracts us is what it looks like when it comes to the table.
It's got to be visual. I always joke with my chefs that, like, you know, color isn't a flavor, so it has to make sense. It has to have a purpose, but you certainly eat with your eyes first.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the cause.
Yes.
A great cause, raising money for a great organization.
Yeah, so the funds go towards helping women escape violence, women and children helping escape violence. So they have women's shelters set up throughout the city that you know, and one of the big things that'll happen at the event is I believe there's 3 guest speakers that are going to be going up and giving sort of testimonies about their experience and them going through the shelters, which I remember the first time that I heard that I was in tears, and I think most people will be, won't be a dry eye in the crowd. So it's you know, it's a cause that's really close to our hearts. It's a cause that I think, you know, they really help these women get out of really tough situations. So anything that we can do, this is their primary fundraiser. So this is where they really, this is kind of their big one for the year. So we're hoping to get lots of people out.
Yeah, and fundraising is such a you know, it really is a job for these organizations, and they wish they didn't have to do it, but it is so incredibly necessary, right? Because there's not a lot of government funding when it comes to things like that, and we're seeing that even with our shelter system here in Ottawa. Let's talk about what else is going on as you get a little closer to spring with all the restaurants. You're changing up your menus. What
so we'll be rolling out
this time of year?
Yeah, we'll be rolling out some new menus, sort of. It's basically almost every week this month, depending on the restaurant. I'm kind of ping-ponging between the restaurants. So we look to see some new items on the menu. My role within the restaurant has kind of evolved a little bit, less executive chef, more kind of food and beverage operation manager.
Okay.
So I've got some great chefs that I'm mentoring and overseeing throughout our group. So it's a really exciting time for us to kind of get some people up sort of through our rankings to kind of have them put their own spins on the menu.
You enjoying that role? Because, you know, I watch you do this, and do you still get to do some of this?
Not as much as I used to, but I'm enjoying it. One of the things on top of cooking that I love coaching people, I love mentoring, I love you know, sort of the management side of things, the people management side of things. So you know, it's exciting times for us.
Well, and I guess you get to go around to the different restaurants. You get to probably meet the customers too a little more than you had in the past, which is a lot of fun.
And I get to do great events like this where we're bringing along. I have Luke, who's my chef at Side Door, Alex, our new chef at the Clarendon. They're coming along for this, so they're. One of the things that's going on at the event is going to be some live cooking demos. I get to drag them on stage with me and put them in front of a group of people. So
that's terrific.
It'll be really exciting.
Yeah, I've been to the event in the past. It's a wonderful event. I'll just remind everybody at home when it's happening. It's at 50 Sussex, a great venue, by the way, fantastic venue. May 18th, 6 to 10 p.m. You can get tickets on Eventbrite. We'll be right back.